All right, so I'm installing the Jeep Cables Big 7 kit for a 2008 Jeep Wrangler. As you can see, I already took off the old battery cables and positive and negative. It's pretty much the entire thing. And as you can see, that's for splits on the top. And then that's the alternator. And these are the two that split on the bottom. One being for the starter and the other one being the engine ground on the other side on the passenger. Basically what it comes with, I know there's a couple of videos already showing how you install it, but this one looks a little more updated. Comes with all the cables. They're pretty straightforward. They all are labeled on each side, letting you know where they're supposed to go. Like this one says firewall in the negative. Comes with the battery terminals and the fuse. It looks like a rubber grommet for maybe the alternator. And yeah, two fuses, a 150A and 200A. I'm not sure which one you're supposed to use, but we'll see right now. Just so you can compare the Jeep Cables Big 7 kit to the OEM cables, as you can see, it's a lot thicker, so it's definitely an upgrade. We're underneath the Jeep, and basically, since all the cables are labeled, I just put the flat side in on the positive for the starter. I didn't have the heat shield on it, but probably be wise to put it on just because of the heat from the manifold. Basically, that's what it's going to look like once you do have it installed. And of course, you're going to put this ground wire back onto that post right there, as you can see. And that's what your starter should look like once it has the Jeep cable installed. We're at the part where we're going to install the fuse. I went ahead and chose the 150A just because it's a lower amperage, and who knows, it sounds safer, right? And we're gonna go ahead and mount it right there, right on the plastic, right there on the side, just because I seen it on another video and it looks like a good spot. We'll get that mounted up. This cable coming from the alternator looks like it says fuse. More than likely, it's gonna go on that side, on that right. Another cable coming off this side, and if I'm correct, that other cable will be this shorter one. It says fuse. And it says PDC, which I believe is going to go into the side of the fuse box right there with the positive, where it says right there, along with this other cable stacked up on top of it that also says PDC. Both of those cables stacked up pretty much right in there. And then this other side says battery. That's what's going to go directly to the battery. All right, let's set up this fuse then. We do have all the positive battery cables installed now. As you can see, this is the one that goes from the alternator to the fuse right there. Fuse to whatever that means. It's the fuse box. It says PDC on it, right? The other one says PDC, and that goes straight to the battery. And of course, this one goes straight to the battery as well, but that one's coming all the way from down there from the starter. That's pretty much where all the positive battery cables are gonna go. The only problem here is that my fuse box, as you can see, it won't close. If you pay attention right here, these are gonna get pinched. And I know they talk about it in other videos, but they don't really show you what the problem is here. So it's that tooth. You see that? That can be a problem very soon. Pretty much what you gotta do is just cut off that tooth and you should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started on the negative cables. This is what it should look like once you have all the positive battery cables from Jeep Cables installed. We got the alternator one, the two at the fuse box. I cut that tooth like I mentioned in order for it to close properly. Here's the tooth so you can see how much for reference. I put the fuse box right here just because it was the easiest spot to put those two screws in. I wanted it on the side right there, but it was too much of a pain to get a drill sideways and fitting in that cracks. Went ahead and put them there. Now we have left is those two positive ends, which are going to go straight to the battery terminals. And now we are ready to go ahead and put the negatives in. There's two ground cables that are pretty straightforward. The third one I might need some guidance on. This first one, it says firewall on one end, obviously, and the other end goes down to where the crankshaft position sensor is, I believe. There's a ground mounting point right on the side of the engine, so you could actually see it through my wheel well, right up in there. It's right in there. It should be right behind the heat shield. For that first negative ground cable we installed, I wanted to show you a better look of exactly what stud it is that it's going on. Right there, right on the side of the engine block, right behind what would be the catalytic converter heat shield. You got to move the shield out of the way, take off the stock grounds, and add that one. This is the second negative ground right there from the fender mount right up to the battery. On the driver's side, we have the positive connection at the starter. On the passenger side, we have the negative connection right here behind the heat shield. So you can't see the connections there, but if you kind of peek behind there, you can see all the ground cables are stacked up right up against the engine block, right in that area right there. This is what it should look like once you have the entire kit installed. I went ahead and installed the battery terminals as well already. The second negative battery cable, I linked the other side of it right up to the firewall where that connection that goes down to the engine block is. I think that's the most correct way to do it, just considering the length of it compared to the one that went straight down. It's going to be 2 cables per terminal. It does come with heavy duty terminals. However, I kept my quick disconnects just because I like the convenience of them, and I like the 4 mounting points, so you could add them on without taking off any of the other connections. But the one that does come with it is a lot more heavy duty looking. Look how much bigger it is and how much thicker it is. It probably does have a more solid connection. If I do have issues with my quick disconnects, I'll swap them, but for now I'll go ahead and keep my quick disconnects. Here's the positive. I did also figure out that these boots go here at the fuse mounting points. Initially I thought that they were replacement boot covers for the alternator and then a boot cover for the starter, but they're not. So I put the OEM one back on the alternator and I left the starter as it is, OEM without one. And there we go. The install is now complete. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, anything I could have done differently. And of course, we can't forget the Jeep cable sticker. There it is. Wish I would have got the beer can one, but this one's cool too. Big shout out to Jeep Cables. Wish they would have sent a sticker just like this one, but with a Wrangler on it instead of a Gladiator. And there it is, all put together. The 2008 Jeep JKU install of the Big 7 Jeep Cables kit. That's what it should look like with my battery mounted in. Now's the moment of truth. Let's see if my electrical gremlins went away. I was having these issues with it, basically where it was just having these crazy issues. I don't even know how to explain them. Let's see, maybe it'll do it. It sounds normal. I think it fixed it. Let's see for the check engine lights. Basically, I was having a blinking lightning bolt. I had the traction control light on, a bunch of check engine lights, or a bunch of codes that were so random. The Jeep Cables Big 7 kit did fix a common problem that a lot of people have had very different and separate solutions for. Here is my solution for it. Jeep Big 7 kit. I think these older JKUs do come with electrical gremlins just because the ground cables are older, electrical wiring and stuff is a lot older. And honestly, I think that's what my issue was, because here we have it, it's working like nothing. Before I would turn it on, I would have the lightning bolt flashing, I'd have the traction control on, my acceleration would not work, accelerating perfectly, or revving at least, but it was super different, day and night difference. I have videos of it, maybe I'll upload them at the end of this video, just so you could see the sound and way it was behaving prior to this. Awesome. Hopefully everybody liked the video and got something out of it. If there was any information that served you a purpose, please comment, subscribe, let me know what I should do to my Jeep next that maybe could benefit you guys, because I'm taking this one for the long run. All right, see you guys next time. Thanks again, everyone. I make these videos for people just like you and me who are not mechanics but want to work on their Jeep, get their Jeep back on the road. I know this was a common problem. I've seen so many videos and so many mixed solutions on this, and nobody really had a correct answer or a direct answer, better yet. Different things worked for everyone, but this is what worked for me. If you're having that lightning bolt, the traction control light, and a bunch of random check engines that are not your sensors and are not your actual parts, this may be the fix for you. This is a 2008 harness, so it's probably fried. All right. Well, I'll probably make a separate video of me cutting that up and showing the result of it. Anyway, thanks everyone. Like and subscribe.